Good morning. Good morning. I would like to just have a candid conversation. I do enjoy these candid conversations because it just gives you an understanding of Rodney Christopher Glover simply saying that I want to be governor of Florida, and how does this gentleman think? Because I want to back somebody that at least seems like they are trying to make sense of things that don't make sense and put this together. If you haven't seen in news, about 1 million voters were purged from Florida's voter registration due to Senate Bill 7050. You can go look it up. And they were they were sued. You know, the state of Florida was sued by the League of Women because they were saying, hey, you guys are overusing your power. It's really vague, so you get to do a little more, and you're not being very clear as to how this Senate bill that was passed is going to be utilized. And this is where the problem comes in at. Now, we've seen individuals go to Congress and have these congressional hearings. But what you have to do is you have to go and find out when we get rah-rah speech, when we get these rah-rah individuals that sit in Congress, understand I'm saying Congress, that sit in Congress and give us all of this. Yeah, call them out on the wrong they're doing. But nothing happens. As a citizen, you have got to tell me that you are tired of having a complaint, filing that complaint, and nothing happening. This is because you do not get in trouble for doing wrong at a congressional hearing. It must be sent to or picked up by the judicial branch. The Congress is considered a legislative branch. They create policies and laws, but do not have the authority to enforce that on individuals. Please understand this. You don't have to really look this up unless you want to. You can trust my study on this. Congress does not have the authority to enforce policies and laws. This is why when you just get behind rah-rah speech, you need to be listening for someone to say, we are sending this to the judicial branch for the record to hold you accountable. If you do not come in front of our economic structure, judicial branch, you will not be held accountable for your wrongdoings. If your leadership is not explaining that to you because they are simply saying, and you can look this up and I have plenty of videos on it, our education system is not doing well. And there are a lot of people that find themselves so entrenched in rah-rah speech, but then have complaints about why nothing is changing. It's because you're hearing the rah-rah speech from a branch that doesn't have the authority to do nothing but pass laws. We are noticing through news more and more that yes, our ability to vote individuals in is still there, but it is being toyed with consistently by the legislative branch. Why are we still drawing any lines in 2024? Why is gerrymandering at its core still a useful tool? It's because some of you still want to identify by party. You want to be Democrat or you want to be Republican. And if you choose to say that, you know what, I'm going to register as NPA, non-party affiliated, an individual will ask you, hey, well, are you more conservative or are you more liberal? That's just a roundabout way of saying, are you Democrat or Republican based on your perspective? Now, I know what conservative means and I know what liberal means as per just the definition of just being conservative. You know, I'm conservative in some things, I'm liberal in some areas. Doesn't mean I'm Republican because I'm conservative, or liberal making me a Democrat. But if you answer the question, then it's like, oh, now I'm non-party affiliated. That means that I'm open to hearing the individual who wants me to elect them. I want to know what they are about. I want to know if they've changed their minds, if they leave open-ended conversation. Open-ended conversation simply means that if you are asked a direct question and you know you are going to upset a specific group, doesn't matter who it is, and you pick an open-ended answer so that you can flip-flop later, we need to be over that. I think you need to be able to say, hey, I don't agree with what this group does. I just don't agree with it. And here's why. So my answer to your question is yes or no. And I'm the type of person that I'm going to answer yes or no first before I give you my reason. We've gotten really entrenched in just hearing all of this rah-rah speech, and it sounds really good. Hey, I want to do the best for all the people. Sounds great. Then when you get in office, you never point out why you can't do the best for everybody. You never point out that, hey, I just had a meeting the other day where this lobbyist came in and told me he would make sure that I could do X, Y, and Z, and my family would be taken care of, and all of these things would happen. And you know what? It changed my perspective on the entire way I look at things. But I'll tell you right now, if you are not in agreement with money needing to come out of by way of lobbying politics, then we have a serious disagreement. Because I believe that you should be the only person that decides whether or not changes happen, not the capital environment that we have created. Now, here's a problem with capitalism and socialism. For some reason, the idea of legislating capitalism is okay, but not regulating capitalism. What that simply means is an individual wants to be able to come out and say, hey, I created this and I should benefit from what I created. Everybody can get behind that. But when what you created starts to have an economical impact in a negative direction, then it needs to be regulated. And that's where everybody has a problem. And I'm not saying everybody has a problem. What I mean by that is all of the capitalist individuals have a problem. So what they did was they put in legislative laws so that when morality showed up and said that this wasn't okay for you to have all of this power to now hinder or become a issue in everyone's everyday life, legislation has already been created to say, you can't do nothing about it unless you change the laws. And the people who need to change the laws, we're finding out more and more they've been bought and paid for. So again, I just want to come from a perspective to simply say, I will not accept money because we have a huge problem. And I will end this one simply saying, if you believe that some things do need to be regulated that are under the capitalist umbrella, I'm the person you need to vote for. But also, if you do believe in that, then you also need to make sure that you start to get that circle around you to also start to at least hear you out when you say, hey, there is a candidate that wants to get our vote. And one of the main things that he wants to do is find those areas of capitalism that have been legislatively deregulated and put them under a form of regulation that will assist us as we try to regulate and create legislation that puts power back in the voting people's hands. He does not want all the power to just be with elected officials. The power should be with the people. It should be with the people and should be used for the people. You guys have a great morning.